I'll tell you a very sweet story about coffee doodle. How we all started, how this was entirely thought, and I will tell you the most important factor to start up your own idea, to get started with your own idea. So I feel there is one of the most important factor which is required if you want to be able to become a good entrepreneur, or if you want to be able to start a successful, or if you want to make your startup successful. There's one of the most important factor which you require, and we appreciate that factor a lot. That factor runs through the veins of coffee doodle, a culture, a product, how it was built, and we follow that factor a lot. This factor is usually one of the most overlooked factor in today's startup world, and it remains unmeasured most of the times. There are few companies who appreciate these factors a lot, and they are very successful in today's world. So I would like to know if you can guess what is that factor. Any guesses? What's the most important thing? So it is empathy. It is empathy. In today's world, as the market is overcrowded, there are a lot of products, there are a lot of consumers, there are different kinds of consumers, the need of every consumer has changed, and it's evolving over the period of time. Empathy is the new business IQ. Today's world, as the needs of customer keep on evolving, we need to understand more and more about the customer's needs. Amazon is the best example, what you always see when you need any product or service. They know how to understand people's needs, they identify the problem, and they find a profitable solution to that. So, empathy, when we talk about empathy, we consider it as a very soft skill. We think it like an art, and we consider that some people might have empathy, some people might not have empathy, which is usually wrong. Empathy is a natural tendency, just like how we get angry, just like how we feel happy, we feel curious. Similarly, we are empathetic. But only thing is we don't realize is how we cater to it, how we take it ahead, how we appreciate that factor to understand everyone. So, empathy is not about just doing good things or making people happy. It is to understand someone and step inside his shoes and feel for that person and find a solution if there's a problem inside. So I'll tell you an example. In today's world, if a child scores less marks, okay, and this entire thing what I'm telling you is related to topic doodle, and this is why we have got started, and it's directly imbibed to our heart. So in today's world, when a child scores less marks, most of our parents tell our students, which we tell a child to study more. If you score less marks, you have to study more. If you are scoring less in science, just study more for 3 hours and you'll get good marks. Try to concentrate more and you'll get good marks. This is most of the time we tell our children. But why is he scoring less? Why is that thing is pulling behind? Why is he studying less? So we are not trying to figure out that thing. My concern is, human mind is such a complex machine. When we are buying a smartphone, or if we are buying a camera, we get the 20-25 pages manual to use that camera, use that machine. But our mind, there's no manual. We tell our children how to concentrate, but we fail to tell that child how to concentrate, how to focus. We say don't take stress, stress is bad for you, but how to not take that stress? That whole thing is always absent. So the moral of the story is, if there is a problem, we try to figure out the solution first. 95% of our time, we think about the solution, how to solve that problem first, and 5% we think about the problem. It should be opposite. We should figure out what is that problem. We should try to go inside the problem, we should figure out why has that problem at the first place. So once we go inside a problem, once we identify why it has happened, solution is a byproduct. If we join the dots, we automatically get a solution out of it. So toffee doodle, I could build toffee doodle because of my father. My father is a very empathetic person. When I was in 12th, I scored so less in mathematics that I failed in my board exam. So because of that, I had to take a year break. And that 1 year gap which I had, it completely changed my life. My father, he was so empathetic. He stepped into my shoes. He understand what I actually required, what made me happy. He suggested me that you opt out from mathematics, you take psychology. And I want you to learn cooking. I want you to become chef so that you are happy. Because I was completely fascinated about cooking from my childhood. I was very much fascinated towards fire. That's a very strange thing. So I was completely fascinated about how when you mix about 2-3 ingredients and that entire concept of food changes. By addition one of particular ingredient, the entire person of the product changes. So from my childhood itself, I was completely towards food. My father, he appreciated that and he told me that do not worry son. I see the hunger of cooking inside you. So I want you to learn cooking. I want you to do what you want. Try to focus what you want and we'll get it for you. In the future, if once you learn cooking, you can start a restaurant. I don't have money to give it to you right now to start up a restaurant, but you have to figure out the solutions after you gain that ability. So, after that, I went to my graduation school. I joined my IHM Hyderabad. I learned about food, I learned about different cuisines. I was more inclined towards desserts and puddings all the time. So during the entire 3 years, I specialized in food production, and whenever we used to have food practicals. So during my specialization, we had just like how we have science practicals, we have kitchen practicals where you have to make different kinds of cuisines on that particular day. One day there's a Russian cuisine, one day you have Italian cuisine, and you have to make 7-8 dishes in that 3 hours from starters to desserts. So my mentor used to always say that compared to out of 50 student batch in that, the dish what you make always, it is good to taste, but there is something different than I have taught you all. So there is something different. So I told him that I always like to do something different and I like to add something of my own. So he used to say that your food tastes good, but I cannot give you full marks into that particular authenticity. Your food always tastes good. So over a period of time, I told him that yes, I understand that this is not maybe a right way to cook food, but I appreciate the taste in a different way. So after that, over a period of time, he felt that there was a slight gap between my marks and what my other partners were scoring. And in spite of me cooking really good food, my marks were always low. So why was that happening? So there was a new parameter which came into assessment, it was a fusion. So there was another trait. So there was always taste, there was texture, there was color, there was flavor when you make food. If I make a lasagna, it was always checked like in terms of texture, taste, smell, flavor. After a period of time, there was another personality which was assessed towards that food, was a fusion. Even if you see our product, we sell ceremony, but we have a fusion to it. We have a toffee fusion, which is our own specialty. and the same vision towards an authentic product that is upward. So after my graduation, I had different kinds of desserts. I always like to innovate the authentic recipes. After my graduation from IIT Hyderabad, I went to 4 5-star properties to learn more into puddings and desserts. I figured out how an industrial cooking happens, what is the hygiene parameters you need to follow, and what are the things which you need to cater if you are producing in bulk. So the technicalities of bulk cooking, the technicalities of industrial cooking versus the authenticity what you have learned in the production, I wanted to figure out that. So once that is done, I was completely ready to start my dessert restaurant. So since my graduation, I was completely focused that I will start a dessert cafe to make different kinds of puddings, make different kinds of desserts, cakes, souffles, whatnot, chocolates, and make a nice brand out of it and start maybe in Goa or Hyderabad, like a dessert cafe basically. So after that, I was completely geared up, saying that okay, I know about food, I'm confident to make food, and now let me go and start, let me build a brand and let me get started. I was not more inclined towards job, though I had opted out for placement process, and my family used to always question me why. I had no answer to that. I decided that I will answer only when I satisfy my hunger and it will provide an answer to that. So until I realized that after my graduation and 9 months in 4 different properties, learning different kinds of desserts and cuisine, I was comfortable with technicalities of food, but the technicalities of business was missing. To start up, you need to figure out your finances well. You need to understand about finance, you need to understand about how to manage your team, how to become a good leader, how to empathize what the other colleague is feeling, how to market your brand, how to brand, what is branding. So all these things were absolutely missing in my mind. So I decided I'll go to a business school. I'll learn more about branding. I of course know about food, that won't go away, that won't fade away. I used to always cook during my free time when I was at home. So I thought I'd learn business more. I wanted to know how to make a brand. To make a design, to make a logo, it's very easy. But to carry out that logo and to communicate the value of your brand to your customers and make people believe that, it's very difficult. And it's a year's time. You don't just make a brand in half a day. So I joined business school. I learned most of the things. And in those 2 years gave me a complete different perspective what I had before joining business school. The dessert cafe plan changed my FMCG business model. My plan earlier was to make like 60 to 70 different puddings or a dessert and have it under one brand and under one store. So my priorities before joining a business school was to, open a shop, make puddings in that, and start under a brand somewhere. So I decided that let's not make 50 to 60 different kinds of desserts and anticipate thousands of people visiting you. Instead of that, make one good product. Make one good product and distribute to 100 clients who anticipate thousands of people under them. So if you see 100 clients who think that 1,000 people will come to them, 100 multiplied by 1,000 is 1 lakh. You make one good product, distribute it to 100 people, you're automatically getting visibility of your product for 1 lakh people. So the priority to start a dessert cafe turned into an FMCG business model. There was an extensive market research which was done in those 2 years to identify what people need. So I'll tell you one story. In France, there's There's a lane, okay, where there are a lot of gift shops. I'll come back to empathy once again. There's a lane where there are a lot of gift shops, and there are different kinds of gift shops in that particular lane. There are big malls, there are fancy gift stores, there are small gift stores with almost like huge portfolios of gifts inside. So in that particular lane, there's a small shop which is completely different. It's neither fancy, it does not have any kind of fancy gifts, nor it is like huge with 3 or 4 story building. But that shop used to do a lot of business for past 25 years. And everyone was confused, why is that so? A business owner used to think that I have a 3-story gift shop, complete full service for a customer who comes inside, an air-conditioned gift store, but I'm not getting business. But a small shop beside me who does not even have an AC with that shop and a mediocre portfolio of gifts, why is he doing so much of business? And why is he not quitting? Because every alternate gift shop who was coming in that lane was closing his business after 2 or 3 years. But this particular shop was existing from 25 years. So the answer was the owner. That particular owner had the ability to understand their customer so deeply and the person for whom he was buying. Now, whoever used to come to him, he used to ask, for whom are you buying? Is it for your mother? Is it for your girlfriend? Is it for your brother? He used to go beyond that. He used to understand about his mother or his brother. He used to understand about him. He used to ask a few questions. He used to step inside the shoes of his mother or him and swim into their minds and finally figure out the best gift for them. He also suggested the products like a gift for them which he didn't have. He referred some other shops. So he was not after money. His main business was to solve other person's problems and then give them solutions rather than forcing a sale from his shop. So this kind of loyalty, this kind of service built the brand reputation and which gave him the strength to run in the market. So yes, after my 2 years with business school, I had to decide which product to make. I had so many products under my portfolio. I used to make cakes, I used to make puddings, I used to make ice creams, even homemade ice creams. But what was the product? Which one I had to select? All these products like cakes, ice creams were solutions. But what is the problem I'm catering to? Just like how the example I gave you for the gift shop. It's not just about the product. We should not sell what we want to sell. We should sell what the other person wants to buy. And if we do that, that time only sale happens. So after an extensive research with my college canteen, so I used to make products, I used to go home, I used to make products in my at my place, I used to get the products, I used to keep in the college canteens, and I used to sell those products. So if you see Konkani, it is an FMCG product, it's available, it's sold beside where other ice creams are sold. If you see the competition, there are ice creams in the retail store, there are chocolates, there are even cakes, there are packaged cakes, there are croissants, there are different types of sweets. But pudding are absent. The gourmet desserts are absent. So I identified that when someone wants to eat sweet, there are a lot of options like cakes, chocolates, but all these products are completely filled of preservatives. The minimum shelf life is bang on 6 months. So they are full of preservatives. If you see the ingredients, there are a lot of ingredients which you can even not pronounce. So the need which I thought I required to have that in my product was clean label. I wanted to design a product in such a way that you get a product which is the same, which is made up of the same ingredients you see at your home. The ingredients which you can recollect from your kitchen. Simple to understand, and easy to incorporate. So a simple product, richer, creamier, tastier. So this is what the problem we identified, and we plan to build more on that and launch it in the Goa market. After that, once the product was identified, there was a lot of market research done, and after that we came to a conclusion that let's start with a pudding brand and do a fusion with the toffee part, as it was always my signature toffee twist. So the puddings with toffee was a concept. After that the major hurdle was, of course, every startup faces, that's money. So now I had a good amount of exposure towards food, so technicality I was fixed. Business part, that was also fixed. I had a fair amount of knowledge how to build a brand, how to promote a brand, how to manage finances. So knowledge wise, I was confident that okay fine, I can manage this stuff. Though I am not a champion, I can hire champions in the future where I can learn from them. I may need not be a champion, but I know my stuff. So, but to start a business, you need money. So I opted out for placement process again, where almost I had a bench strength of 260 people in Japan. And I was the only person to opt out from the placement process, where everyone were hungry for placements. We were expecting in lakhs per month. So I was the only person, after spending 15 lakhs on a GIM course. My family was completely against this, and they were in tension that you have taken a loan for 15 lakhs and you're just opting out of placement process. Behind make some puddings and start a brand. So in spite of that, I thought, yes, this is why I have done this. I want to start a brand, that's why I have done my MBA course, and this is why I'm doing. So I went to Hyderabad, I pitched to some investors for funds, but it didn't turn out. My product was not tested. My process was not tested that time. To start a business idea and to pitch to an investor or VC to get fundraising, you need some kind of traction in the market. To get funds, you need some traction. It's just not like, okay, you have a good idea and you will get money out of it. No. You need to validate that idea. You need to validate the process behind it, and you need to have a good team. So 3 factors which are the most important thing to raise funds. So and all these 3 things were absent at that time. So I opted out of the placement process. I was just on the roads figuring out where I can raise funds for toffee to do. After that, I realized that my product was not tested, my process was not tested. I was all alone with the funds. All alone behind the idea, looking for funds. And coming under the pressure that family were continuously saying, okay, fine, now it's the right time to take up a job. I finally decided, okay, let's take up a job, earn for 2 years, try to learn more into a business, try to engage with more clients, learn market more, and then start time once again. So I worked for 2 years with Nearby as a marketing consultant. I served Nearby for 2 years. I was managing the entire Goa market for Nearby. So Nearby is an e-commerce company. It is just like a Flipkart and Amazon for services. You could have booked a restaurant or a spa just by a mobile app. So I was managing that business model for Goa. I worked for 2 years. I saved that money. I saved somewhere around 3 to 4 lakhs in 2 years. And that amount completely I transferred to start my business model. So with 4 lakhs, first thing what I invested was the machines. Whatever the basic machinery what was required to start a business model, the fridge, the processing machines, as basic as possible. I rented a shop, I employed 2 people, and I got started. So the main part to start a brand what my thought process was, you need to have a good product and you need to have a good design. To start up a food product in the market, okay, if you want to start a food brand, if you want to start a restaurant, or it can be a FMCG product, there are two things which are most important: your product and your brand. I'll give you an example. When you go outside, when you speak to people, okay, even amongst your friends, if you are a good person from your heart, but if you cannot speak, if your speaking style is very rude, though you are good from heart, people will think that, okay, this might not be a good person. And vice versa. If you can speak really good, but if you are not good as a person, that is also bad. So the product is your nature, it's your heart. And the branding and the design is how you carry yourself. So you need to be a good person, you need to carry yourself good, you need to talk good. So your product and branding, it goes hand in hand. So when we got started with Toffee Doodle, our two most key priorities were product and designs. We gave a good amount of priority for designs, and at the same time we figured out that the quality is of course the first priority, with good nutrition, simple labels and good quality ingredients. For the first 6 months, I was the only person in the production area. I was the person to market my product. I did the deliveries. I was responsible for managing finance, to cleaning the store, to the housekeeping and everything. So our team got built over a period of time. So as soon as from 5 stores, we came up with more 6 stores. After that, more 5. After that, we got one person for logistics. And person by person, step by step, machine by machine, we are now from 5 stores. From April 2017, we are catering to 120 retail stores and restaurants in entire world. So the area where we are manufacturing right now, that is Margao, and it's a very small shop if you see, and it's a, I would say it is very difficult to manage production, packaging, branding, marketing, everything in that particular shop and cater to retail stores. So from 700 capacity, we are now increasing our capacity and expanding ourselves to a new factory by next summer. So we are planning for the expansion. As we say, empathy is always what we believe in. Over this period of time, over this period of 18 months, we have continuously listened to our customers, the feedback what we are getting, and we are improving our product every day by day. So by next summers, our product should be available in the 3 more cities. We are entering Bangalore very soon, and we are increasing our pack capacity from 700 cups per day to 45,000 cups per day by next March. And those who have tried Toffee Doodle before, there is a super cool news for you. We are launching a completely different product this Diwali. You'll hear from us very soon in the coming days. So as of now, we have just one product, and by this Diwali, we'll come up with a completely different product by November 6th. So yes, this was a very short story about Toffee Doodle, how we got started. So yes, the moral of the story is, of course, empathy is the new business IQ, and it's not just ends with the customer. Empathy is always important with your team, empathy is always important with your client, suppliers, how to manage the business, how to deal with your suppliers. It starts from the factory. It's the heart and soul, and every business person should have this from their heart to get started.